Apparently, this movie was so forgettable, I forgot to review it a fucking year ago. Because for whatever reason, I got curious. Maybe I saw like a fucking, video on Instagram or something of The Incredibles and decided to look up The Incredibles on my channel. But apparently, I've only reviewed the first movie, though I did watch the sequel. The first one was a big part of my childhood. I watched it all the time as a kid. Really good movie. The David from Alvin and the Chipmunks plays the main villain, and he does an amazing job. Um, and fucking Samuel L. Jackson plays Bob's best friend in the movie. Um, it was a big part of my childhood. Came out in 2004. 10 years later, there was no sequel. 14 years later, there was. Um, I saw the trailer as a kid, didn't really think much of it, never went to go watch it until last year in 2024. So that would have been a full 20 years after the first movie came out, was when I decided to watch it, ironically enough, at, 20 years old. And I didn't think much of it. I didn't hate it. There's a lot of debate on whether this movie's good or not. Some people like it, some people hate it, some people think it's just a rehashing of the first movie. Um, it wasn't great, from what I really remember. Because like I said, it's been like a year since I've watched this movie. Because I watched the first one in January. At least that's when I posted it. I posted it in late January, my review of the first movie. And apparently I just never reviewed the sequel. Honestly, there wasn't that much to this movie that I can even remember. I get it has been a year, but the first movie, it focused on Bob the most. And the family was also there, and they got a decent amount of screen time, and you got to bond with all the characters. But Bob was no doubt the main character. In this movie, Bob is reduced to a smaller role, which I'm fine with, and they deal more with Elastigirl, but she doesn't really do anything that interesting, at least in my opinion. She was way more interesting in the first movie, and the villain's plan is kind of convoluted and stupid. It wasn't like the greatest plan from Syndrome in the first movie, but I didn't really like the plan in this movie. She's got beef with superheroes because apparently superheroes didn't save her dad. Just kind of stupid. They do a time jump, but actually, no, they don't do a time jump. I'm thinking of the criticisms because people were mad that they didn't do a time jump and age up the cast a little bit. The characters are exactly the same age. They take this movie as a direct sequel, even though it came out 14 years later, because the movie starts off with them taking down the villain that was at the end of the first movie. At the end of the first movie, it seemed more like a little gag. Like he wasn't meant to be a threat. Like it was supposed to be, cliche 2000s movie where they save the day, but then at the end of the movie, there's another villain. And you just know they're going to win it. So there was no need for them to show us the actual fight. And it didn't really do much for me that I remember. Probably the funniest gag in this movie is the baby. the baby, the baby was fun in the first movie, and it's fun in this movie. Jack, is the baby's name, I believe. Jack, Dash, Violet, Elastigirl, Bob, Mr. Incredible, Frozone. I remember all of these characters' names even though I haven't looked them up. Jack is watching like a cartoon or something on the TV, and they show what robbers look like, and he thinks the raccoon is a robber. So him and the raccoon have a little fight in the backyard. It's a lot of fun. Best scene in the movie. But there just isn't that much to it. Bob is a bit overworked. I believe that this movie, it might have happened in the first movie. Bob is trying to figure out math, and he gets really angry about math. I'm pretty sure that came from this movie. when he's trying to help Dash with math. Also, I believe that the actor that plays Dash is a different character in this movie. I mean, a different actor. Because he does sound slightly different from my memory. Plus, I did look up the cast, though. I didn't look at any of their names, but I looked at the cast and I saw that the guy that played Dash is 17 currently. So, yeah, I think they obviously got a younger actor to play at least Dash. I don't know about any of the other characters. The guy who plays Saul in Better Call Saul also has a role in this movie. He might have been in the first movie too, but I know he's in this one. They do the little thing where the villain is someone that was at least somewhat close to the main character. I've never liked that kind of reveal. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It doesn't really work here. I don't know if they were trying to make it work, but it doesn't work here, at least to me. From what I remember, they introduce us to a bunch of other new superheroes, but they don't get to really do that much in the movie. The most they do is when, I believe, like I said, it's been a while since I watched this movie, that there was 30 minutes left of the movie and they are mind controlled by the villain, and Violet and all of them have to take them down. It wasn't great. I don't even remember really how the movie ends. Who knows? Maybe in fucking another 14 years we'll get an Incredibles 3. But I wouldn't exactly be looking forward to it. I believe that the parents didn't know that Jack was also a super, and they find that out in this movie. Even though I think that it was hinted at that they knew in the Jack short. Because I believe they make him a new costume and stuff in this movie to help with his powers. But yeah, apparently I didn't review this movie because I looked through the playlist. Unless I had forgot to add it to the playlist, it's not there. I scrolled through my videos unless I skimmed over it, because like I said, I did have a time frame because I know when I uploaded the first one. Maybe I made a spelling error with the Incredibles name. I don't think I did. I just think that I never reviewed this movie. It's a sequel to a kids movie at the end of the day, so I'm not trying to be too harsh on it, but it leaves a lot to be desired.